I think the biggest challenge is there's so much innovation happening. We do not even know what to trust, what not to trust. We don't even have time to look at all the companies who are doing all this wonderful stuff. So we really have to solve this problem, but no one can solve it alone. So we really have to come together as a community of health systems, saying if you have evaluated a product and that was not good enough, then I don't need to do that. And so kind of we have to create scalability in terms of evaluation to filter down all the innovation. The other thing we have to do is build evidence. We have to do clinical trials very much like we do with drugs, but in a very nimble way and a very time-effective way. We cannot wait for a 2 years randomized controlled trial in these technologies. We should try to find within 3 to 5 months how can we do early validation point for evidence generation. And the third and the most important thing which we need to do is to look at technologies not just for innovation or piloting, but actually for transforming our health system. And there's a different kind of implementation science that goes into it. What kind of people that need to be retrained to really bring it for every eligible patient, that technology. So we really have to solve transformation challenge. And that's where I see the biggest opportunity as well, because if we solve the transformation challenge, if suppose we have an asthma app or an asthma toolkit, and that reaches every asthmatic patient, suddenly we have generated ROI, we've solved the transformation challenge, and that is the success story we have to build in digital medicine. So this time NodeHealth announced the launch of the National Digital Medicine Registry. So we have 100 abstracts, ongoing pilots which were being submitted, and out of that we selected 80 which will go into the registry. So I think that's the next 2018 path for us. Our goal is that every digital medicine pilot that's happening in the United States and eventually abroad, we are able to bring that back so people can see what is happening, people can see the outcomes that's happening from them, and can ask other people if they are doing the pilots, hey, is this something going somewhere, or this is not a good technology to invest time or energy into it. That's one major initiative. The second bigger initiative we're doing with NodeHealth is we launched Digital Medicine University, where all the sessions in the conference today will be recorded and made available to members. So we can go back to our health system and go back to medical directors, clinical specialists in different categories, and kind of teach them the same thing which we are learning here in the conference. So we can take the best practice and really make it scalable when we go back to our health system. So Digital Medicine University will be an online curriculum which will take all the videos we are doing, all the best thought leaders we have, but it also will curate in a crowdsourced format all the best practices, all the documentations we have, all the startup inventory checklist we have. So it's going to become a great hub for us to share information. All they have to go is go to node.health, and there's a contact us form, and they fill up the contact form there and express interest, and that's there. It's an open platform for health systems and ecosystem partners to come over. If they can also shoot an email to info@nodehealth.org. And if they like any article they want to share on Twitter, it's a hashtag of DigMedEvidence.
So one of the biggest challenges for an early stage technology company is getting into and getting attention from a healthcare system. That's the first problem. The second one is then trying to get somebody to take them seriously and to actually sit down and look at their technology, test their technology. And so the convening work that NodeHealth is doing on a national level to bring together different providers to talk about what their needs are. And my hope is that over time, the role that NodeHealth can play is in helping to streamline and make more efficient this process of doing pilots and trying to be a trusted intermediary that if you do a pilot that's been vetted by NodeHealth at one hospital system, that information is trusted and can be used then to help that technology company go to the next hospital without having to repeat the whole pilot, that they can actually use both the vetting of that technology company as well as the data that comes off of that initial set of pilots to make that next engagement much easier. So we partner with the major hospital systems in New York City and some upstate, and so Mount Sinai, where NodeHealth has got its sort of birthplace, has been a great partner with the Digital Health Innovation Lab. And so we've been working with the NodeHealth team through our Digital Health Accelerator program. Healthcare is nothing but complex, and so being able to talk to people, particularly given the current environment with the uncertainty of what's happening in Washington as well as the changes that are happening generally in healthcare, it's always interesting to check in with different people to hear what they're thinking, what their issues are, and what potentially some solutions are. There is a need for being able to get data out of electronic health records and data back into the electronic health records in a seamless, less costly way. And so I'm interested in people that are developing solutions to be able to do that.
I think one of the biggest opportunities is to sit in the shoes of a patient and really understand, given the way things work today, what could be changed, what's the art of the possible, how could we make things more simple, and to design our systems and design the way things work around the patient. I'm most looking forward to learning about the ecosystem partners of Node and what initiatives they have going that are addressing simplification, that are addressing patient experience, and how are they advancing that, what support they have within their different health systems, for example, and who are the change leaders within the organization, what roles are really making a difference within my clients, really. I think the biggest point of interaction is bringing Node Health partners together with Accenture around a particular issue or item and collaborating. So not just connecting with one partner of Node, but multiple partners of Node around a particular challenge or problem and really bringing the best ideas forward and then figuring out how we can collaborate together. Yeah, well, I think we have an opportunity to define what that looks like, both in a way that supports how we Accenture go to market, but then also the mission of Node. And in terms of data sharing, I think it's really based on the particular idea or area of focus that really drives what data is necessary. And so the approach that I would recommend is that we identify a theme or an area of focus. We bring partners together around that area of focus. We identify the data that's needed to drive a particular experience, and then we look at each other and say who can contribute what and how do we really break barriers so that we can bring that data forward.
It's very important to bring people together, although we are all digital folks, there's nothing like bringing people together at an event or in the same room, to start talking about things. And too often people keep it very, very kind of, you say, polite and nice, right? I would rather that people get upset and get passionate about things. And I think that would be cool to see. I think people need to take healthcare personally. And that's the big problem that we have in healthcare, that people don't. They see it as this one-off thing, once in a while, something's going to happen to them, then I'll access the physician, and there's so much value in that whole process. I'm not going to complain about anything that is inconvenient to me, and then I'll just hope it never happens again. Right? And that's unfortunate. We don't do that about airlines. If we get one small problem there, we're like complaining, getting on social media, getting upset, and very few people do that with healthcare. And I think we as people that deliver that care or that organize people to start thinking about this in better ways, I think we need to get passionate about that, almost take it personally, and then try to do something about it. So I hope that can happen also at Node.
Well, the strategies that I believe will be most successful are not just in the realm of innovation, but also facilitating the population health tools that will create new abilities of health systems, the abilities to go out there and to rationally manage larger populations, to share financial risk with the traditional payers, the employers in this nation and the government, such that we can provide more effective health care. That will often be outside of a hospital. Even if a hospital runs it, a hospital may not be running it as a problem that's dealt with in a hospital bed, but is dealt with in a hospital ambulatory care setting. I think that the energy in a meeting like Node Health is a very positive and engaging one, because you have very bright people who all want to make things better. And what is better in healthcare? It's our ability to get people practicing at the top of their license. How do we get someone who has a bachelor's degree, who's a care coordinator, most effectively managing populations? How do we have an RN used most effectively in keeping people healthy? The same thing would apply to mid-level providers, nurse practitioners, and physician's assistants, as well as to the physicians. And so decision support tools that could result from more intelligent technology could be very helpful in using this workforce to the tops of their licenses, and in addition creating more value-based care in the ambulatory environment, keeping people healthy and out of the hospital, keeping people from getting readmitted to the hospital, and even while they're in the hospital, making their care safer and more effective by standardization. And all of that, in some ways, hinges upon having a good and healthy relationship with our technology. Just having an electronic health record does not make health better. It's what you do with that electronic health record, and we're still in our infancy as a profession, as a nation, really as a world, in dealing with the digital revolution in medicine. The most important thing for me is to learn what other people are doing, what their ideas are, what their energies are, and where I think we can create partnerships that are mutually beneficial. Final thoughts? I think that it's wonderful when groups like this come together, because it's a safe space to talk about innovation. It's a place where we have representatives from industry, from government, from pharma, from the payers and providers, and it's a really effective format for getting people who all want to do the right thing to talk to one another, and hopefully great things will result from the partnerships that are built at meetings like this.